Chosen ones, listen to me carefully. I carry an urgent and sacred message today, and this message is not for everyone. If you are not walking the divine path of God, if your heart is not aligned with truth, obedience, and spiritual discipline, this video is not meant for you. You will feel uncomfortable here. But if you are a true follower of God, if you are one of His chosen, then understand this clearly. This message has reached you at the exact moment heaven intended. Not early, not late, right on time. God is warning you for 2026. And this warning is serious. There are certain things about your life, your calling, your plans, and your spiritual experiences that must never be revealed. Not to friends, not to family, not even to people who claim to love you. What you reveal too early can be delayed, distorted, or destroyed. I need you to stay with me until the very end, because what I'm about to share may protect years of your destiny. Many chosen ones have fallen simply because they spoke when God asked them to stay silent. Before we continue, chosen ones, give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon, share this message with other chosen ones, and comment 777 in the comments to declare that you are aligned with God's will and ready to walk wisely into 2026.
Why God always chooses unlikely vessels. Chosen one, let me settle your spirit first. If you have ever wondered why your life felt harder than others, why you never quite fit in, why your path seemed delayed, misunderstood, or overlooked, this is why. God has always worked this way. He does not choose the loudest, the proudest, or the most celebrated. He chooses the ones the world ignores. He chooses the ones who are shaped in silence. Look at the pattern. Moses wasn't confident. He didn't speak well. He questioned himself constantly. Elijah carried power, yet battled exhaustion and isolation. David was not even invited to the table when the prophet came looking for a king. That is not coincidence. That is divine strategy. God hides His greatest instruments in plain sight until the right moment. And you, chosen one, have been hidden for a reason. God chooses unlikely vessels because pride cannot survive the process. If you had everything easy, you would rely on yourself. But God needed you to rely on Him. He needed you to know what brokenness feels like, so you could recognize healing when it arrives. He needed you to know rejection, so you could carry compassion. You were shaped, not punished. Many chosen ones struggle with self-doubt. That doubt is not weakness. It is evidence that your heart is still teachable. The arrogant believe they are ready. The chosen ones know they are not. And that is exactly why God can trust them. You question yourself because you fear misrepresenting God. That fear is holy. Let me say this clearly. Being overlooked did not mean you were unqualified. It meant you were being preserved. God did not expose you too early because exposure without preparation destroys people. You were protected while others were promoted. You were trained while others were celebrated. And now you are beginning to understand why. Chosen ones are often misunderstood because they see deeper. You've always felt things others ignored. You noticed patterns. You sensed motives. You felt heaviness in places where others felt comfort. That awareness can feel like a burden when you're young. You don't yet know it's a gift. God gave you spiritual sensitivity early because you would need it later. That sensitivity is why crowds drain you. It's why noise exhausts you. It's why shallow conversations feel heavy. You are not antisocial, you are discerning. Your spirit filters more than most people can handle. And God knew that. That's why He trained you in solitude. Let me free you from another lie. Being chosen does not mean being perfect. Moses struggled with anger. Elijah battled fear. David made painful mistakes. God did not remove his calling because of their humanity. He worked through it. The calling is not fragile. It is anchored in grace. You may have felt different since childhood. You may have asked questions others didn't care about. You may have felt drawn to God without fully understanding why. That pull was not imagination, that was recognition. Your spirit recognized its source before your mind could explain it. Many chosen ones grow up feeling like outsiders, even in their own families. Not because they are unloved, but because they are wired differently. Your values are different. Your tolerance for injustice is lower. Your desire for truth is stronger. God placed you there to observe, not to blend in. You see, chosen ones are not raised to fit systems. They are raised to confront them. That's why comfort was never your teacher. Pressure was. Silence was. Waiting was. Confusion was. God taught you lessons others never had to learn because others were not assigned your role. There were seasons when you felt forgotten, times when prayers seemed unanswered, moments when you wondered if God skipped you. He didn't. He was building depth. While others were learning how to perform, you were learning how to endure, and endurance is rare. God chooses unlikely vessels because unlikely vessels stay dependent. They stay humble. They stay aware that without God, they are nothing. That awareness keeps the channel clean. Pride clogs the flow of divine power. Humility expands it. Chosen one, your background did not disqualify you. It qualified you. Your struggles did not delay you. They prepared you. Your isolation did not weaken you. It sharpened you. God was not absent. He was intentional. Let me speak directly to your heart now. You were never behind. You were never late. You were never forgotten. You were being aligned. Timing matters in the kingdom, and God does nothing prematurely. What He places in your hands must meet a prepared spirit. That is why your breakthrough did not come when you begged for it. That is why doors stayed closed longer than you expected. God was guarding your future self from your past self. He loved you enough to say, "Not yet." Now you are waking up. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You are beginning to understand your role. You are starting to feel authority instead of confusion, calm instead of anxiety, clarity instead of chaos. That is not coincidence. That is activation. Remember this. God never chooses based on appearance. He chooses based on alignment. And if you are here listening to this, something inside you already knows. You were chosen not because you were strong, but because you were willing to be shaped. Take a breath. Let that settle. You are exactly where you need to be. Chosen one, let me add one more layer so your heart fully understands this truth. God also chooses unlikely vessels because they learn to listen before they speak. While others rushed to be seen, you were taught to be still. While others demanded answers, you learned how to wait. That waiting trained your spirit to recognize God's voice even when it whispers. And in these times, that ability matters more than talent. You were not built for noise-driven faith. You were built for discernment. That is why flashy religion never satisfied you. That is why shallow spirituality left you empty. God was pulling you deeper, even when you didn't have language for it yet. He was separating you from imitation so you could walk in authenticity. There were moments you felt delayed, as if everyone else was moving forward while you were standing still. But stillness was not stagnation. Stillness was alignment. God slowed you down so you wouldn't outrun your assignment. He slowed you down so your character could catch up with your calling. And now, you are beginning to notice something shift inside you. You don't chase validation the way you used to. You don't need approval the way you once did. That is growth. That is maturity. That is the sign of an unlikely vessel becoming a trusted one. You are not becoming someone else. You are finally becoming yourself. Walking in the line of Moses. The weight of responsibility. Chosen one, this is where many of you feel the heaviest pressure, even if you've never been able to explain it. Walking in the line of Moses is not glamorous. It is weighty. It is quiet. It is demanding. And most of the time, it feels like responsibility chose you, not the other way around. Moses never asked to lead. He never chased authority. In fact, he resisted it. He questioned God. He doubted himself. He felt inadequate. And if that sounds familiar, let me tell you something important. That hesitation was not rebellion, it was reverence. Moses understood the seriousness of carrying people, of representing God, of standing between heaven and humanity. And many of you feel that same seriousness in your spirit. You've always felt responsible, even when no one officially placed responsibility on you. You feel the weight of others' emotions. You feel the tension in rooms before words are spoken. You feel burdened when people you love are lost, confused, or hurting. You carry things silently. That is the Moses line working through you. Let me say this clearly, you were never meant to carry everything alone, but you were built to carry more than most. God wired you with endurance, not because He wanted to punish you, but because He trusted you. Responsibility is not given to the reckless. It is given to the faithful. Many chosen ones struggle with exhaustion, not physical exhaustion, but soul exhaustion. You rest, yet still feel tired. You disconnect, yet still feel pulled. That's because your tiredness is not from doing too much. It's from caring deeply. Moses carried an entire people who complained, doubted, blamed, and resisted. And still, he interceded for them. Still, he stood in the gap. And that's you. You often feel misunderstood because people don't see what you carry internally. They see calm, they see control, they see strength, but they don't see the inner conversations you have with God. They don't see the prayers you whisper when no one's watching. They don't see the nights you process emotions that aren't even yours. Walking in the line of Moses means being blamed for things you didn't cause. It means being questioned even when you're right. It means being held to a higher standard without being given higher support. And that can feel unfair. But listen to me carefully. God sees it. Every ounce of pressure you feel has been counted. Moses stood between God and the people. He heard complaints from below and commands from above. And that space in the middle is uncomfortable. That is where many chosen ones live. You are too spiritual for the world and too human for religion. You don't fully belong in either space. That in-between position is lonely, but it is powerful. You didn't choose leadership. Leadership found you. People naturally lean on you. They come to you for advice, for clarity, for grounding. Even strangers feel safe opening up to you. And sometimes you wish you could turn it off. Sometimes you wish you could just be normal, invisible, unbothered. But your presence shifts atmospheres whether you try or not. That's Moses. Let's talk about frustration. Moses got frustrated too. He felt overwhelmed. He questioned God's plan. He even lost his temper. And God still called him faithful. Hear me. Feeling frustrated does not mean you are failing. It means you are human under divine assignment. Chosen one, stop beating yourself up for feeling tired. Stop shaming yourself for wanting rest. God never intended for you to burn yourself out trying to save everyone. Even Moses had to learn delegation. Even Moses had to step back. Rest is not disobedience. Rest is wisdom. You have a strong sense of justice. Injustice disturbs you deeply. When things are unfair, your spirit reacts strongly. You don't like manipulation, oppression, or abuse of power. That's not anger issues, that's alignment. God planted that fire in you because you are meant to confront what others tolerate. But with that fire comes pressure. Because you see what others ignore, you notice what others excuse, and that awareness can feel isolating. You wonder why no one else seems bothered. You wonder why you're the only one speaking up. Moses asked similar questions, and God reminded him again and again that obedience matters more than agreement. Here's something you need to hear. You are not responsible for outcomes. You are responsible for obedience. Moses did not part the sea. God did. Moses did not send manna. God did. Moses simply showed up, listened, and acted. And that is your role too. Stop carrying outcomes that were never assigned to you. You may feel pressure to get everything right, to say the right thing, to lead perfectly. That pressure does not come from God. God works through process, not perfection. He corrects, redirects, and refines. but he does not discard. There were times Moses felt alone even while surrounded by people. That is a unique kind of loneliness. Being needed but not understood. Being respected but not known. If you feel that, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you are carrying authority. Authority isolates before it elevates. Chosen ones walking in the Moses line often struggle with guilt when they set boundaries. You feel bad saying no. You feel responsible for others' reactions. You feel pressure to fix what is broken. But hear me now. Boundaries protect your assignment. Without them, resentment grows and clarity fades. God did not call you to be everything to everyone. He called you to be obedient to Him. And here's the comfort. Moses didn't always feel strong. He leaned on God constantly. He argued, questioned, cried out. God never rejected him for that. God met him there. In the questions, in the exhaustion, in the doubt. You are allowed to be honest with God. You are allowed to say this is heavy. You are allowed to ask for help. Strength does not mean silence. Chosen one, if you are walking in the line of Moses, understand this. You are being trained to lead without losing your soul. You are being shaped to carry authority without ego. You are being prepared to guide others without abandoning yourself. This season may feel intense. Responsibility may feel heavier than ever. But that's because you're not imagining your calling anymore. You're stepping into it. Take another breath. God has not left you alone with this weight. He walks with you. He speaks to you, and He will sustain you, just as He always has. Walking in the line of Elijah, isolation, fire, and spiritual warfare. Chosen one, this part will speak to those of you who have felt alone in ways you could never fully explain. Walking in the line of Elijah is not about crowds or applause. It is about standing firm when truth is unpopular. It is about carrying fire while being misunderstood. And most of all, it is about learning how to be alone with God without losing yourself. Elijah was powerful, yet isolated. He confronted false systems, exposed deception, and refused to bow to compromise. And after doing everything right, he still found himself alone, exhausted, and hiding. End-time calling unfolds step by step. God reveals just enough for obedience, not enough for control. Trust deepens when certainty is partial. You may feel moments of stillness followed by sudden movement. That rhythm is intentional. Stillness grounds you. Movement activates you. God controls both. Chosen one, you are not being rushed beyond your capacity. God knows exactly what you can handle. If this season feels intense, it is because you have grown strong enough to carry it. Stay anchored. Stay obedient. Stay humble. The end-time calling is not about fear, it is about readiness. And you are far more prepared than you realize. Signs you are fully stepping into this lineage. Now, chosen one, this is the moment where many of you feel something settle deep in your spirit. You may not be able to explain it logically, but you know something has shifted. When you fully begin stepping into this lineage, the line of Moses, Elijah, and David, there are signs. Not loud signs, not dramatic signs, but undeniable ones. One of the clearest signs is internal clarity after long confusion. For a long time, your mind may have felt scattered. You questioned your purpose. You wrestled with identity. You went back and forth, unsure of direction. And then quietly, clarity arrived. Not answers to everything, but peace about where you are. You stopped panicking about the future. That calm is alignment. Another sign is that old desires no longer control you. Things you once chased don't excite you the same way. Attention, validation, proving yourself, fitting in, it all feels hollow now. You may even feel confused about why you don't want what you used to want. That's because your appetite has changed. God does not feed mature spirits with shallow things. You also notice that your tolerance for nonsense has dropped. Drama exhausts you. Fake energy repels you. Conversations without depth feel heavy. You are not becoming judgmental. You are becoming discerning. Your spirit no longer has the capacity to entertain what doesn't align. Another sign is separation, but not forced separation. You didn't announce it. You didn't plan it. It just happened. Relationships faded. Circles got smaller. You didn't feel angry about it. You felt relief. That's important. When separation is from God, it brings peace, not bitterness. You may also notice heightened discernment. You see through intentions quickly now. You sense when something is off without needing proof. You can feel truth and falsehood before words finish forming. That ability is not paranoia. It is spiritual perception sharpening. Your emotional responses have changed too. Things that once triggered you don't have the same power. You pause before reacting. You observe more than you explain. Silence feels safer than defending yourself. That is not passivity. That is authority maturing. Another sign is a deep pull toward authenticity. You can no longer pretend. Masks feel heavy. Living out of alignment feels unbearable. You'd rather be misunderstood than fake. That discomfort with pretending is evidence that God is anchoring you in truth. You may also feel drawn to solitude, but not loneliness. Solitude restores you. It clears your mind. It brings peace. Being alone no longer scares you. In fact, it feels necessary. That's because your spirit has learned how to rest in God, not in noise. Another sign is inner peace, even when external circumstances are uncertain. Your life may not look perfect. You may still be waiting on things, but panic is gone. Anxiety no longer rules. You trust timing in a way you didn't before. That trust is not ignorance. It is confidence in God. You may notice that you're becoming more selective with your energy. You don't overshare. You don't explain everything. You protect your peace. That's not secrecy. That's stewardship. Not everyone needs access to what God is building in you. Another sign is a stronger sense of responsibility, but without pressure. You feel accountable for how you live, speak, and move, but it doesn't feel heavy. It feels natural. Obedience no longer feels forced. It feels aligned. You also experience conviction differently now. Instead of shame, you feel correction with clarity. God doesn't condemn you. He redirects you. That shift means your relationship with Him has matured. You may feel less reactive to others' opinions. Praise doesn't inflate you. Criticism doesn't crush you. You listen, discern, and move on. That emotional stability is rare, and it's necessary for what's ahead. Another sign is a quiet confidence, not arrogance, not loud certainty, just knowing. You don't announce who you are. You don't need to. Your presence speaks. Your peace speaks. Your consistency speaks. You may also feel an increasing urgency to live intentionally. Time feels valuable. You don't waste it easily anymore. You feel a pull to align your days with purpose, not distraction. That awareness is preparation. Chosen one, let me say this clearly. If you recognize yourself in these signs, you are not imagining it. You are not forcing identity. You are responding to activation. This lineage does not announce itself loudly. It reveals itself through fruit, through peace, through discernment, through alignment. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. And this is only the beginning. How to walk this path without burning out or losing yourself. Chosen one, this part is crucial because many strong spirits burn out, not from doing evil, but from doing too much without wisdom. Walking in the line of Moses, Elijah, and David requires strength, yes, but more than that, it requires balance. God never intended your calling to cost you your peace, your health, or your identity. Let me say this clearly. Hustle is not holy. Exhaustion is not proof of obedience. God does not measure faithfulness by how drained you are. He measures it by alignment. If you are constantly depleted, something is out of order, not in your calling, but in how you are carrying it. One of the first lessons you must accept is this. You are not the source. You are the vessel. When you try to become the source, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, you will burn out. Moses learned this. Elijah learned this. David learned this. And now you are learning it too. Rest is not laziness. Rest is obedience. God built rest into creation because He knows the limits of the human body and mind. When you rest, you are not stepping away from purpose, you are preserving it. Some of you feel guilty when you slow down. Release that guilt. It does not come from God. Another key is learning to say no without explanation. Chosen ones often overextend because they feel responsible for everyone. But responsibility without boundaries becomes resentment. God did not call you to be accessible to everyone. He called you to be obedient to Him. You must also learn to move at God's pace, not your emotions. When excitement leads, mistakes follow. When pressure leads, confusion follows. But when obedience leads, peace remains, even when the path is challenging. Stillness is not wasted time. Stillness sharpens discernment. It allows God to correct course before damage is done. Many of you receive your clearest direction when you stop trying to figure everything out. Another safeguard is humility. Not false humility, but grounded humility. Remembering that you are chosen does not mean you are above correction. God corrects those He trusts. When conviction comes, respond quickly. Delayed obedience creates unnecessary struggle. You must also protect your inner life. What you watch, what you listen to, who you allow access to your emotions, it all matters. Sensitivity is a gift, but it requires stewardship. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every voice deserves influence. Chosen one, let go of comparison. Your assignment is unique. Your timing is intentional. Looking sideways will only distract you. Focus forward. God reveals your next step, not the entire path, because trust grows in movement. Another important truth: you are allowed to enjoy life. Joy does not dilute calling. Laughter does not offend God. Beauty, rest, connection, these things refill you. A joyful spirit is a strong one. If you stumble, do not spiral. Repentance realigns faster than perfection ever could. God is not shocked by your humanity. He is committed to your growth. Finally, stay anchored in relationship, not role. You are a child of God before you are a servant. When identity comes first, calling stays healthy. Chosen one, this path is demanding, but it is not destructive. God does not call you to lose yourself. He calls you to become yourself, whole, grounded, and aligned. Walk gently, walk wisely. God is with you every step of the way. Divine affirmation and conclusion. Chosen one, take a deep breath and let this truth settle into your spirit. You are not imagining this calling. You are not forcing meaning onto your life. You are not late, broken, or confused beyond repair. You are responding to something ancient, intentional, and divinely placed within you. You walk in a sacred line, a line marked by responsibility, fire, and heart. Moses carried authority, Elijah carried truth, David carried intimacy with God, and you carry a measure of all three. For this time, in this world, in this generation, you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand firm. You were never meant to rush. You were meant to align. Everything you endured shaped you, not shattered you. Every delay refined you. Every quiet season prepared you. God does not waste pain. He does not misplace His chosen. And He does not awaken you without intention. If this message resonated, it's because your spirit recognized its own reflection. This did not reach you by accident. It reached you because you were ready to hear it. Remember this as you move forward. You are protected. You are guided. You are not walking alone. You are not required to figure everything out today. Just stay obedient, stay humble, and stay grounded. God will handle the rest. Before you go, chosen one, if this message confirmed what God has been stirring in your heart, like this video, Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it with other chosen ones who need this clarity. And comment 777 below as a declaration that you accept your calling, trust God's timing, and are aligned with the path He has set before you. Walk in peace. Walk in purpose. God is with you.